Happy National Superhero Day, everybody. My name is Kevin Feige. I'm the president and producer of Marvel Studios, and I have the great privilege today of leading an interview with two real-life heroes of the MPTF. I spend a lot of time with aliens and gods and people in capes, and that can get a little old after a while. So I'm very excited to spend some time today with two real heroes. I'm sure the term superhero makes both of you, Jennifer and Linda, a little uncomfortable. I've been told you're both humble and incredible servant leaders to your clients, patients, and colleagues. However, please know that you're absolutely deserving of the title, and the entertainment community is so grateful for all that you do for so many. Now we are going to dive right into your real life superhero world. Jennifer, I'm going to start with you. You're a licensed clinical social worker, the director of community social services. You've been with the MPTF for 14 years. Tell me about an average day in your life as a licensed clinical superhero, acknowledging the fact that probably nothing about the last week has been average in your life with the recent Academy Awards triumph for the MPTF.
Absolutely, for sure. I mean, I think a typical day or an average day, maybe fortunately is not one. Every day is completely different. I come in with an agenda of what I hope that day is going to look like, and I realize my job is really to put out fires and to help to support my staff, working directly with clients. But really, everything I do is based on the mission of the organization and is the work that myself and my team is conducting and performing, living up to that mission.
Spoken like a true hero. Linda, you're the director of palliative, geriatric, and testing services. That's a superhero I've not yet met before. What's an average day like for you, and how long have you been with the MPTF?
I've been with MPTF for 20 years now. And the average day, it's wearing several different hats. Each one of those, palliative care is a separate entity from geriatric services, and which is separate from testing labs. So depending which hat I'm wearing. Geriatric Services oversees the medical care and the medical needs of the nearly 80 people that live in our long-term care setting, which is Harry's Haven, Mary Pickford House, and Herschel Place. And so it's working with a really wonderful team of clinicians, nurse practitioner, physicians from UCLA, to be able to meet their healthcare needs and be able to help them live the best quality of life as they can. Palliative care is a medical specialty, and we see people both on campus and in the outpatient community setting. So it's people that come in and are served by chaplaincy, social services, nursing, physicians, and we're able to really help people that are dealing with serious illness live, again, as the best quality of life, the most comfortable life as they can, and really be able to empower them to set the course for their life and not feel like the medical machinery is just kind of taken over and this is the direction they have to go now. Testing lab finally is my last role that picked up over the last year, which was really establishing a COVID testing program for the campus, for all the employees and residents of the campus. And we now have a high complexity lab that is part of our community here on campus. And we're able to do PCR testing for COVID and really ensure as best as we can the safety of the people that live and work here.
It's wonderful. It's beautiful. I will say that the residents there are my heroes. I've grown up loving movies, watching the credits until the very end. We put tags on the end of Marvel Studios films in large part to force people to sit and look at all the credits and acknowledge all of the people that work so hard and have been working so hard. So I really consider you heroes helping heroes, because all of the residents are my personal heroes for everything they've done for the entertainment community. Jennifer, most superheroes get their powers, they invent them, they encounter some sort of a scientific accident. What is your story? How did you get into the business of taking care of others? And when did you know that was your heroic calling?
Well, I knew I wanted to be part of the helping profession. I wasn't sure in what capacity or shape that would look like. And more than anything, I knew I wanted to be of service to other people. And so I'm the first in my family to go to college. And so during my undergraduate degree, I was pursuing a bachelor's degree in clinical psychology, and I took an elective under gerontology minor, which is the study of aging. And I absolutely fell in love with this population. And during that elective, one of my classes was in social work, and I was good fortune to get mentored by this particular professor and social worker who really forced me to really consider a career in social work, and it completely changed my trajectory. And it allows me to do really what I think I'm supposed to be doing, and that's helping others and being of service.
That is wonderful. For as much as we work on our visual effects and a hero saving somebody from a building, there's nothing like watching a healthcare provider help somebody in need on a very personal level. My wife is a nurse, so as close as I am with pretend superheroes, I do know what those real superheroes are. We both come home and have very different stories to tell about our days. One is entirely pretend, and one is very, very real. And I really respect that and acknowledge that is what actual heroes do. Linda, in the Marvel universe, we see powers like super strength and telekinesis and energy manipulation, but perhaps these could be in some ways viewed as very human emotions and strengths. That's certainly what all the Marvel heroes we try to embody with. What do you feel is a real superpower in the work that you do? And what is that power that moves people, changes things, or even rights wrongs? That's sort of a big question, but you get the gist.
Yes. I think empathy leads the way. It's being able to look at somebody in a situation and try to make sure that they're being treated and respected and cared for and assisted in the way that I would want people that I love to be treated. And that making sure that their life is unfolding the way they want it to be. And that's, again, being able to look at somebody and say, how would I want to have people respond to me in this situation? And how would they want them to respond to people that I love? So I think empathy is really the cornerstone. And then the other piece of it is also, as far as the nuts and bolts and practicality, is being able to check ego at the door. Because there's many different ways to get something done. And so my way doesn't always have to be the way that's selected. It's picking the battles of the things that I feel like, okay, this is the direction I really would hope we go in. But it's also being able to step back and listen to other people and say, we're really together as a team. This isn't the Linda show. And that, I think I'm really grateful that the people that I work with also feel the same way. So we really do collaborate with each other and come up with the best solutions as we go forward.
I think empathy and leave ego at the door are probably the two greatest attributes that any human could have. And I wish empathy wasn't such a seemingly a rare superpower nowadays. I wish it was a very common power. And I thank you for that. Jennifer, you're also a teacher guiding future superheroes through a variety of courses in aging and human behavior and the social environment. What an amazing way to pay that forward. Why do you devote your time to raising the next generations of superheroes?
I think very much as what Linda just said, I feel a great responsibility as part of my profession to pay it forward to the next future generation. But more so, I think about it, if it was my family member sitting across from a social worker or a nurse or a doctor, would I feel confident in the care that's being provided to them? Would they be seen as a whole person? Would their goals of care really be honored? And so being able to teach and to mentor is really my opportunity to teach empathy and compassion and humility, and to ensure in my own way that those things are being carried forward.
Well, and talking about paying it forward, I see behind you the 100 years of the MPTF, and how wonderful to think about the next 100 years. And knowing that a place like MPTF exists in this industry when people want to enter it, hopefully, over the next 100 years that you're teaching people going forward is wonderful. I'll ask both of you. Most superheroes get the benefit of an adoring audience. They get featured on the news, great fanfare. We know it's not always like that in the real world. Where do you draw your strength? Tell me about the feeling you get when you know you've helped somebody and changed their life for the better. Again, leaving aside the fact that Jennifer, you were on the Academy Award stage just a few days ago.
Well, okay. So as far as where I draw my strength, or the feeling I get when I know I've made a difference in somebody's life is gratitude. I'm so grateful to be a part of MPTF. I'm so grateful to have this opportunity to get up in the morning and come here knowing that throughout the day, every day, I have a chance to impact somebody's life in a positive way. And so there's, at the end of the day, if I can look back on the day and say, oh yeah, I made a difference, what big or small, whatever it was, I made a difference in this person's life. It's a feeling of satisfaction and gratitude. The strength comes because I work with so many amazing people, and to just see the work that we do and the work that they do and their commitment. I mean, I just feed on that. And that's again, it's just, can't think of a better place to be able to live my life professionally and personally.
It's been such a privilege and honor to be employed here at MPTF. I mean, an organization that I started here as an intern, and now I'm the director of community social services, and they've given me a platform to thrive and to innovate. I don't solely run the social services department. I have 3 other counterparts, and we're a team of 4 that comes together to lead a group of about 30 people, again, trying to adhere to the mission of the organization. And so my strength comes from, it's such a privilege to be able to sit across from another person and bear witness to their pain, to their suffering. Oftentimes we see people at the darkest moments of their life, and it's such an honor. And so to be able to be afforded that opportunity to be in the room with someone, whether it's metaphorically or literally, is where my strength comes from.
And what, Jennifer, what would you say inspires you to go and help people during that darkest hour and give them inspiration in a very, very difficult time?
I think the idea that, it could be any one of us. It's really not a matter of if, but or when one of us is going to need help. And we certainly saw that and continue to see it with the COVID pandemic. You could have had the best laid plan. You could have prepared in every way, dotted every I, crossed every T, and a new medical diagnosis comes up. A car accident happens. You get hurt on the set, and life completely flips upside down. And so knowing that I could very easily be in anyone's shoes, and I feel that I've been put here to be of service and to help others, is what keeps me going.
Linda, what brings you joy?
Living my life in a way that I feel like I'm making a positive impact on the world. It's like little ripples. If I can help affect one person's life, that to me kind of spreads out. And to me, it's a joyful thing to see that somebody's life is a little bit better, their suffering's a little bit less because of something that I either did or something that I was able to support being done by one of my team members. Otherwise it's the usual for everybody else, but no less meaningful, family, friends, the family dog. Those are also things that bring me joy and give me strength at the end of the day.
Now, I want to ask both of you a question that is my least favorite question when I get asked, because I get asked it a lot, but maybe you don't get asked it as much as I do. And Linda, I'll start with you. Who is your favorite superhero and why?
Off the top of my head, and I actually have 2, but the top of my head, number 1 on the list, because he was my first love, Mighty Mouse. And Mighty Mouse just had such confidence. Here I come to save the day. Not I'm going to try. I'm going to save the day. And so as a little girl looking up at the crescent moon, I just always pictured Mighty Mouse was up there, and he was looking over everything. But my other favorite one, more modern times, is actually Iron Man. And I like Iron Man because he's flawed. He's a flawed person. He's, egotistical and stubborn and doesn't always pick the right path to go, but is always, tries again and keeps working with those flaws to get the job done. And I like that about that. And he also makes me laugh. So those are my 2 favorites.
Follow-up question. Who would win in a fight, Mighty Mouse or Iron Man? No, I'm just kidding. I'm not gonna ask that.
With Mighty Mouse, because Mighty Mouse never lost a fight.
He's dead. Jennifer, same question. Who's your favorite superhero?
I'd probably say the Incredible Hulk. I remember being very young and watching the original series and reruns and those sort of things. And I just think that concept of anger is so, I think clinically it's such an interesting sort of, I think we're so fearful of other people's anger and rage, and yet it's the most easily accessed emotion that a lot of people have. And really what it equals is acute pain. And so it's something that's always resonated for me.
Well, that is officially a better answer than I have ever given in 15,000 interviews when I've been asked that question. So congrats. Here's a slightly better version of that, which is on a slightly different note. What qualities are missing in a superhero that you'd like to see? What do you think is missing in today's superheroes? How can we improve them to help them in their mission to improve the world?
Wow, that's a tough one, because the superheroes are so diverse. Some of the ones that I watch a lot, I think there is self-doubt, there is questioning of self, and I think that's something that I like to see played up. I think it's what I've mentioned, the flaws in Iron Man, is that it makes them more accessible to be able to see some of the flaws, some of the questioning, some of the personal angst. But I don't know that I think that we are getting bits of that. I think there's become much more depth of character in the modern or the most recent superheroes that are coming out.
Yeah, I agree with Linda. I think I like to see characters that are flawed, because that's the human condition. That is humanness at its essential core. And it forces all of us to sort of put ourselves in the shoes of what would I do in this particular situation, or how would I approach this? And it is life. It's real.
Well, and that certainly was, in my opinion, the genius of the late, great Stan Lee and Jack Kirby and Steve Ditko and the entire Marvel bullpen team in the 50s and 60s of making these fun, four-colored comic strip heroes flawed and human, and something that we could recognize. Now, here's really my last question of the day. And again, thank you for doing this and taking time out of your busy schedule to be acknowledged on. I can't think of two better heroes to acknowledge on National Superhero Day. And I thank the MPTF for inviting me to come on and give me the privilege of doing that. What happens when both of you take off your metaphorical capes? People love to hear about the hobbies of real life heroes. So when you're not taking care of all of our entertainment heroes there in the residence and not doing interviews like this, what are your hobbies?
Okay, I like to hike. I like to mountain bike. There's always work to be done around the house, and I actually enjoy doing yard work and things like that. It's not like I'm doing anything really spectacular. Certainly prior to 2020, I love to travel. And having a trip, even if it is a year off, just knowing it's planned, it's coming. I usually have the map of where I'm going taped to the wall in my office above where my phone is, so that it's just there. I love to travel, and I really do look forward to getting back to that someday.
Well, hiking and physical activity, that seems not only a fun hobby, but a good role model for people in a healthy lifestyle. Jennifer, hobbies?
I think between being here at MPTF and teaching, those are two sides of my brain. So they take up most of my energy. But I have a little dog, and I love to spend time with him. I love jigsaw puzzles, something that just sort of takes your mind completely and gives it some peace and rest so that you can rejuvenate yourself.
I think those are good answers. But what I'm really hearing there is something that I also greatly respect, which is the work and the hobby are not that far off. The passion for the work and the passion for the job is also the hobby, is also the thing that brings you both joy. And I certainly try that and find that in my career. And that's what I want to do. And I can't think of two better heroes for the residents of the MPTF to have, taking care of them, watching them, people that care so much about the work that you both do. Those were all my questions. I could gush even longer about the amazing work that you do. I will say again, a few days ago on the Academy Awards, my wife was very proud seeing a nurse dressed as a nurse there on stage next to that Oscar, and really, I think, meant more to her than anything she's ever seen at the awards before. And it meant so much to me and everybody else. So thank you very much for allowing me to celebrate you on National Superhero Day and for taking time to answer these questions. It was a great privilege of mine. So thank you so much, and look forward maybe someday meeting you in person.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you both.